Adam here with the Walser Automotive Group, and what I want to do today is take you on a test drive. So next to me here, I have a 2025 Honda CR-V. So we'll look at the interior, the exterior, and then take it for a spin around to see what it's like out on the road. All right, so now we're behind the wheel of the 25 CR-V, and now this is the EX trim level. So you get the LX, EX, and then your EXL, and then it goes over to the hybrids. So those are gonna be a little bit different. So we did drive one of the hybrid vehicles in the EXL trim, so if you're looking for that, I can link that down below. But for now, let's put it in drive, go for a spin around. So let's talk about the exterior of this vehicle as well as the engine. So now, like I said, there is a hybrid model. So that one is going to carry a little bit higher of a price tag, but it will obviously return better fuel economy back to you. But now with this one, this has a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder, little turbocharged engine, and with the all-wheel drive, so this is available in front wheel or all-wheel drive, this one you're looking at about 28 mpg combined. So that's still pretty good mileage, but if you're definitely considering maybe a lot of city driving or highway driving, you want that little bit of extra boost, the hybrid would definitely be one to check out. But looking at this model, the EX is going to give you some pretty cool stuff. Now on the exterior, this one is the platinum white, and this one does come with the 18-inch wheels in the silver, matches some of that silver and the chrome up front, and it does have a very good look to it. Now the CR-V to me, I think I've said it before, but this is kind of one of those benchmark SUVs. It's been around for a really long time, and typically you see more of them with what seems like 150,000 miles on them versus 4 miles like the one we're driving today. But it's because they just work. They're reliable, they're spacious, they're comfortable. This one is nice and quiet on the road, and with the all-wheel drive, it's gonna make for a pretty great winter vehicle. Now, with the EX trim level, you are getting quite a pretty good amount of stuff. Now, this particular one does get the smaller infotainment screen when compared to the EXL, but it's gonna have Apple CarPlay as well as Android Auto integration. I've got my phone plugged in down here, so it's not a wireless system like it is on the EXL, but once you plug it in, this little display works awesome. It's very responsive. Honda's done such a good job of updating the responsiveness of the screen and the usability. But once you've got Apple CarPlay going, I mean, text messaging, Google Maps, Spotify, everything is built right into here, and it makes it very convenient to not be messing with your phone when you're on the go. Now, let's touch on some of the safety features. So this particular one does get things like road departure mitigation. It's got the blind spot monitoring in both the mirrors, and then you're also gonna have collision mitigation braking. So what that means, if maybe you are looking at your phone for a second or yelling at someone in the back seat and it notices that it does need to stop in a hurry, it can certainly help you out there. Now, one of the other really cool features is the adaptive cruise control with that lane departure warning system. So you can set 4, 3, 2, 1 car length distances away from you, and once you set that distance, it's gonna keep your speed on the highway. So if you're going up to the cabin for the weekend or doing a lot of road trips or just a lot of highway driving, that is definitely one of those pretty awesome features that makes it pretty easy to eat up a lot of highway miles. Now let's touch on the interior. So starting in the back, you would have to bump up to the EXL to get the power liftgate. So it's pretty easy. You can just click the little tab on the back to unlock it. That'll pull it open for you pretty easily. And then from there, you get a pretty large amount of cargo space. Now this one does have a floor that you can actually change. So if you need about another inch or two, you can actually lower the floor down a little bit, which is pretty cool. Gives you a little bit more cargo space in the back. And then if you're not hauling people, you can actually fold those seats. So it's a 60-40 split rear seat. So you can kick those seats down and they do go pretty much flat. So that means you can actually use that cargo space. It's not tipped up like this. It lays down flat and does make a pretty large cargo area back there. Now, if you got the kiddos, you got some adults in the rear, they are gonna be pretty comfortable. Headroom I only found to be a little bit of an issue when I was in the middle seat, but I mean, overall, there's lots of space back there. And those seats do lean back. So if you pull the handle, you can actually recline it a little bit. So if you got the teenagers, maybe they wanna be slouched back a little bit, being a little more comfortable, you can do it that way. There's also USB-C charging and a couple of vents just underneath the center console here. So everybody's gonna be charged up and comfortable when you're in the back. Now let's talk about the driver's seat. So where I'm at in the EXL, this is the cloth interior. You again have to bump up to the EXL to get that leather interior, but these are gonna be heated cloth seats. So we're headed into fall right now, about to be winter time before we know it, and this vehicle does come with a remote start. So you can fire it up, let it run for about 10 minutes. You can kick the heated seats on even when you jump in here. So those 3-level heated seats get nice and toasty. And then in the summertime, the cloth doesn't get so hot, especially with the tan. And it is a pretty nice, comfortable seat. I believe Honda designed these to help with some of the driver fatigue. When they redesigned the CR-V, they wanted these to be as comfortable as possible for as long as possible. And I absolutely get that sense when I'm behind the wheel. Now you can hear the vehicle shut off and kicks back on again. So it does have the auto start stop feature. If you don't like that, it's obviously something you can turn off, but it does help you save a little bit of money at the pump. Now, from the driver's seat, the steering wheel, I love the seated position in here. The windows are very large, and with the blind spot monitoring and the side view mirrors, that also can help you out if you can't quite see, but there's not a lot of real blind spots in this vehicle. The back window is pretty big. You can actually turn and see these pillars aren't so large, which I also like, and the ride and drive is really comfortable. You know, it's quiet in here, it's easy. Yes, the hybrid does have a little bit more power and maybe a little bit more get up and go, but I think for 95% of the time, this little 1.5 liter turbo is going to get you moving into traffic and return that 28 mpg combined. So I think it's totally worth the sacrifice of not needing all that horsepower. A few other things in here, dual climate control, so driver and passenger can select that. And then we've also got a large cubby down here for your phone. So like I said, you can plug your phone in for the CarPlay, it can sit down there, you can charge a couple of devices there, which is really nice. And then we've also got a few different drive modes. So you can bounce between those few drive modes. If you're feeling a little sporty, or if it's snowing, you can actually select that mode as well, which can help kind of fine-tune the driving experience to help you out in snowy conditions. Now you also get the push button start in here. So on the outside, you've got keyless entry, just tap the door handle and you're in, and then you can just fire it up with that remote start or with the start stop button here, which is gonna be, like I said, pretty convenient. If you got your gloves on, don't take the key out of your pocket or your purse, just hop in the vehicle, you're off and going. This EX, which is nice, also gets the sunroof. Typically kind of reserved for the higher trim levels. I do like that you can get the sunroof in the EX model. And you know, there's just a lot of great equipment here. I think Car and Driver put this as their #1 vehicle as far as crossover SUVs are concerned. And I mean, it's hard not to agree with that. It really does everything you need it to do. Plus, I mean, with the reputation of Honda's reliability, this feels like a vehicle that was built very solid and will last me hundreds of thousands of miles. You just get that sense when you hop in. And that's something you can't really, you know, expect from every vehicle or assume that you're gonna get all those miles. Obviously things can go wrong, but to me, when I'm behind the wheel, I feel like I could drive this thing for 10, 15 years. It's just gonna keep on chugging and just keep up with the scheduled maintenance. But I mean, overall, the MSRP on the EX, so like I said, this is a mid-tier level. This one's gonna be about $35,600. So that's gonna be about 10 or 15 grand less than the average new car price right now in the US, but you're getting a lot of equipment. Apple CarPlay, heated seats, the remote start, the sunroof, I mean, the 28 mpg, like I said, so there's a lot of good stuff to like in the CR-V. Whether you're running back and forth to work, picking up the kids, that's also one thing. The rear doors swing open at 90 degrees. If you've ever loaded the kiddos into the car seats, you know they've been fighting the door, but when it kicks all the way open, sounds goofy until you need it. That is a pretty cool feature. But I mean, back to this just being pretty great. I really can't think of anything I don't like. The power seat with the lumbar for me as a driver is really comfortable. Like I said, I like the position where you're at so you can see, you can kind of have a feel of what's going on and get the great fuel economy with the technology. So overall, if you're looking for a crossover SUV, whether you're cross-shopping Toyota, maybe Nissan, any of the GM vehicles, I think there is a lot to like with the CR-V. Like I said, it pretty much can deliver on all fronts. Great fuel economy, great technology, I think great exterior looks as well. So if you're in the market, I think you gotta get out, take one of these CR-Vs for a drive and see what you think. Now that was just a quick look and drive at the 25 Honda CR-V. Now if you have any other questions or you'd like to schedule a test drive for yourself, you can visit us online at walser.com or stop by anytime. We'd be more than happy to help. Thanks again for watching.